Welcome into Dolphins Today. A little bit later in the evening than what I would have normally liked, but we had to wait for the practice squad to get, I think, as filled as it will be filled today. 10 players have signed. That does leave 6 spots open. We'll break down the 10 we know and the additional roster moves made today by the Miami Dolphins. But first, football season is finally here. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the videos we offer at Dolphins Today. Click the bell icon where you guys first subscribed. Go in, change your notification settings from personalized to all. That way, every time there's a new video, it gets sent right to your phone. Plus, it helps me feed my family and us keep the lights on here at Chat Sports. Appreciate everyone who has already joined the Noti gang at Dolphins Today. All right, let's break down the known 10-man practice squad. Still some spots to be filled out. A couple outside additions. First up is Joshua Kalu, the safety. I actually like this pickup a lot. He played a fairly notable role last year for the Tennessee Titans, was unsigned for a while. This is the type of solid veteran pickup that I am a fan of. Hopefully he does not play for you because Deshaun Elliott, Brandon Jones lock it down at safety opposite Javon Holland. But this is a good veteran addition for the Fins. I like this flyer addition as well. Chasen Hines, the offensive guard. Now, on one hand, you probably have enough guards on this roster, but you know what? Isaiah Wynn is on a one-year deal. Who knows about Liam Eichenberg? Hines was a draft pick by the rival New England Patriots, a 6th-round pick out of LSU. Classic guard build at 6'3", 330. Sometimes we call them bowling ball builds because, you know, looks like a bowling ball a little bit. Value addition of like, hey, he was a draft pick. Maybe he develops good young player to have on your practice squad. Several other ones, predominantly guys who were on the roster this preseason. Ethan Bonner, the cornerback / you can play some safety if you need to, out of Stanford, the UDFA. Dolphins were patient while he missed time. Clearly someone they wanted to keep around the organization. Defensive lineman Randy Charlton also making it to the practice squad after he had been released when the Dolphins only carry and are only carrying 4 defensive linemen. 6'3", listed at 265. I think he'll add some weight. That was his draft weight, by the way, out of Mississippi State. Tight end Tanner Connor joins the practice squad as well after the Dolphins lost Elijah Higgins. We'll spend some more time on that in a little bit here. Connor did not play last year, at least no recorded stats at Idaho State, but he gives added depth to a relatively thin tight end room at the moment. Now, the Dolphins have plenty of roster spots available. They have 6 free agents that they could, or 6 spots they could sign. Who else do you want to add to the Dolphins practice squad? Sound off at the pinned comments of today's video, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. Linebacker Cameron Goode, a former pick out of Cal, makes the team as well. Did not record any stats last year. I should say makes the practice squad. Let me add the needed clarity on that front there. No Mitchell Goode yet. I would think you'd make room for him. There's 6 spots. You only have the one edge, so keep an eye on that as an option. Deshaun Hand. Remember, you do get more veterans now than you ever used to. It used to be like if you passed your 3rd year, too bad, you're done. You're out of the NFL. That's no longer the case. It allows teams to extend the lifespan of various veterans. Hand benefiting from that was a bit nicked up down the stretch, but offers at least veteran options if you lose pieces up front where you're already pretty thin on that interior of your defensive line. A.J. Johnson, also known as Alexander Johnson, the former Broncos linebacker, actually flashed a bit early on in his NFL career, has battled some injuries. He makes it as an interior linebacker option, inside linebacker option. Hope Aubrey Miller's not too far behind. We'll see on that front if anything develops with where things are currently situated there. Again, there are 6 spots still. Johnson had signed late in the process. I think you'll see him stick around for a while. Braylon Sanders also makes the team after his injury earlier on in training camp / the preseason. Played a little bit last year. A player the Dolphins like. As we sit here again, several spots open. I bet they add another wide receiver. Sanders makes it. Nothing yet on Robbie Chosen. Alama Uluave, I think I got that right. If not, I'm terribly sorry. That one's always giving me a tough time there. Remember, the Dolphins on their roster currently do not have a natural backup center. We'll see if something changes there. This is an option, though, on the practice squad if something unfortunate happens and somebody ends up getting hurt from that perspective for Alama Uluave, the backup center, the UDFA out of San Diego State. Now, make sure you guys don't miss out on anything here at Dolphins Today. Free videos every single day. As long as you guys are subscribed, do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now. Let's go to some players who are now back on the 53-man roster. Parry Nickerson has been re-signed to the organization. That one is going to be filling out your back-end depth at corner since you are very thin. We'll get to the injured players here momentarily. Nickerson's back, which was promised to him. So, too, is Tyler Kroft. So you are no longer going with like one tight end, or two tight ends, including Julian Hill, on your 53-man roster. Kroft was released because he was a vested veteran. Just like Parry Nickerson, they do not go through waivers. They do not jeopardize, missing out on time or getting claimed. They wait a day, wait till 4 p.m. Eastern, come back. These have not been officially announced yet, by the way, but this is one that will be made official, and the procedural stuff is all that's left. Now, if you want to bet on football this season with our sportsbook partner, BetUS, head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Dolphins125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You can bet on individual games, player props, and futures, which are always fun. Dolphins plus 300, by the way. Not a bad bet to win the AFC East. What if Josh Allen gets hurt again? And the Dolphins were in the division last year until Tua got hurt. I still don't believe in the Jets. I'm sorry. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Dolphins125. $100 down minimum gets you the deposit bonus. Expected to go to IR officially soon enough. Let me make sure it has not happened yet. I have not seen it. There we go. Jalen Ramsey will be going to IR. We've known that for weeks now. He'll be out until December-ish. I would also expect Robert Jones to go to IR. Doesn't sound like Elijah Campbell is going to go to injured reserve, which would then make Jones the obvious fit there since they're fairly deep at guard. IR rules are as follows here. In the event that you you have to miss 4 games. That is the minimum time that you must be out. So once you go to IR, you have to miss the 4 games. Then you're eligible to come back. Jones was a 4 to 6 week injury, so timing's a bit dicey on that front. We'll have to wait and see what the situation is when he comes back, assuming he does end up going to IR. Now, knowing there are still several spots left to fill, as mentioned, we're calling the 10 guys on the practice squad. Who is your favorite one so far? Get those votes in for me in the comments. Before we go, some notable players no longer members of the Miami Dolphins. To the surprise of really nobody, Myles Gaskin had been released. Dolphins maybe wanted to get him back to the practice squad. He actually found an active roster spot. I'm very happy for Gaskin, he was running back 6 on this team. He was behind Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Devon Achane, Salvon Ahmed. He got beat out by Chris Brooks as far as I'm concerned. Gaskin signs with the Vikings. He could be their number 2 or number 3 back. So, would be nice to trade him. Seemed unlikely there. Happy for Gaskin, who now gets to go play different side of the ball for their defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, but some familiarity there for Gaskin. 2 more disappointing ones are the loss of Elijah Higgins, the wide receiver turned tight end. It is always dicey when you waive draft picks. Those players have a typically higher chance of getting claimed, and that is what happens. Julian Hill made the 53-man roster over Elijah Higgins. Dolphins wanted to sneak Higgins on. It did not materialize that way. He was claimed by the Arizona Cardinals, who claimed 6 players because their team sucks. Meanwhile, Ryan Hayes also lost. That one was, again, premium players like offensive linemen, draft picks. I don't know if I would have waived him, but you had a tricky numbers game there, so is what it is. He's been claimed by the Indianapolis Colts. So how mad are you? And please be honest with me in the comments section over losing 2 of your 4 draft picks to waiver wire. Remember, it's just Devon Achane and Cam Smith now. Elijah Higgins, Ryan Hayes are gone. Sound off in the comment section. Scale from 1 to 10.